Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today, we're embarking on a mission, really, to unpack something that's, well, universally critical. Doesn't matter if you're on a bustling factory floor, in a quiet corporate office, or even just thinking about safety at home. We're talking about the profound importance of safety. And for organizations, it sounds like an absolutely massive undertaking, right? How do they consistently, systematically ensure the well-being of their people?
It really does seem daunting. And that's exactly why we're here today.
Exactly. So you're about to discover an incredibly powerful framework designed to answer just that question. We're diving deep into ISO 45001. Now, hold on. This isn't just some dry bureaucratic rulebook. Far from it.
Not at all. It's actually quite dynamic.
It is. It's a global standard for occupational health and safety. OH&S, you'll hear us call it management systems. Essentially, think of it as the ultimate blueprint for creating genuinely safer, healthier, and importantly, more resilient workplaces.
That's a great way to put it. A blueprint.
Yeah. So our mission today is to methodically unpack the core components of this ISO 45001 standard. And we're kind of approaching it like a comprehensive audit checklist for building a world-class safety culture.
Right. Using that checklist structure really helps to break it down.
It does. We're going to look at each crucial element, figure out why it's required, why it's so vital, and explore the, honestly, often surprising insights into what it takes to move beyond just ticking boxes, beyond mere compliance to proactive systemic safety.
Moving beyond compliance is key.
Totally. Think of it as a shortcut to understanding the very backbone of organizational well-being. And for this journey, for this deep dive, we're drawing our insights directly from an ISO 45001.2018 Occupational Health and Safety Management Systems Assessment Checklist. It's a practical guide, really, that distills the essence of the standard into these actionable, auditable points. Helps illuminate the path. So let's jump right in.
Okay, let's do it.
So we're kicking things off with Clause 4. This is all about laying the groundwork. Before any organization can even begin to manage safety effectively, it has to truly understand itself and the environment it operates in.
Absolutely fundamental.
It's like planning a big expedition, isn't it? You absolutely need to know your precise starting point, your destination, and, the terrain you'll be crossing. This foundational understanding, it sets the stage for everything else in a robust OH&S management system.
Couldn't agree more. Without that context, you're lost before you start.
Right. So let's start with 4.1. Understanding the organization and its context. The core requirement here asks an organization to, and I'm quoting loosely, determine external and internal issues relevant to its purpose and strategic direction that affect its ability to achieve the intended outcomes of the OH&S management system.
Okay.
Now that sounds a bit like corporate speak, but what's really going on here?
Well, it's actually a profound shift. Traditionally, maybe safety was seen as just an internal thing, purely operational.
Yeah, like something handled by one department.
Exactly. But this clause, 4.1, forces a much broader perspective. It demands you look outside and inside.
So what kind of external factors are we talking about? Things that might not immediately scream safety issue.
Lots of things. Think about, say, a global economic downturn. That could squeeze budgets, right?
Impacting safety spending.
Precisely. Or consider the rapid advance of AI and automation, fantastic in many ways, but introducing totally new hazards we haven't dealt with before.
Things you wouldn't have even thought of 5 years ago.
Right, and even broader societal shifts. Think about the increasing focus on mental health. Burnout, these directly impact worker well-being, and that falls squarely under OH&S now.
That's a huge one. And internally?
Internally, it could be major changes in organizational structure like a merger, bringing together different safety cultures. That's a big risk.
Yeah, potentially conflicting approaches.
Or even a new production process designed for efficiency might inadvertently introduce, say, new ergonomic strains. You have to look at all of it.
Okay. So our checklist, our source material, underscores that this is required, quote, to ensure the OH&S management system aligns with the strategic objectives and considers all influencing factors and its importance. It says, understanding context helps in identifying potential OH&S risks and opportunities.
And that opportunities part is key.
It really is. Well, let's dig into that. The genius of 4.1 isn't just spotting what could go wrong, is it? It forces organizations to see safety as, well, not just a cost, but as integral to resilience, maybe even a competitive edge.
Absolutely. If a company fails to grasp its context, imagine a tech startup focused solely on rapid growth, pushing people hard.
Right. Burnout risk is high.
But maybe their safety system is still just focused on I don't know, slips and trips in the office. That's a total misalignment.
Leads to wasted effort and worse, overlooks the real killer risks.
Exactly. But flip that. A deep understanding of context can uncover opportunities. Maybe that new automation tech, while expensive up front, could completely eliminate a really nasty manual handling hazard that's plagued them for years. That's a huge win.
A fundamental change, not just a bandage.
Or maybe a company known for its strong safety record finds it can attract top talent, people who really care about working somewhere safe and ethical. That's a strategic advantage.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, that brings us neatly to 4.2. Understanding the needs, expectations of workers and other interested parties.
Right. Another crucial piece of the puzzle.
The clause requires organizations to, again, quoting roughly, determine the needs and expectations, the requirements of workers and other interested parties relevant to the OH&S system. So it's not just employees.
No, definitely not. It's a much wider ecosystem you need to consider.
So who are these other interested parties and why are their expectations so critical?
Well, beyond the obvious workers, managers, you've got a whole spectrum. Think regulators, they have strict legal demands.
Compliance.
Suppliers, they might need to meet specific safety standards for the materials they provide you.
Customers.
Customers, how do they fit in?
They might care deeply about ethical sourcing, safe production of the goods they buy. Think brand reputation. Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Then you have local communities, maybe they're concerned about environmental impact or your emergency plans if you have a facility nearby.
Right, potential impact on their lives.
And even shareholders. They increasingly understand the financial and reputational hit from poor safety performance.
So a lot of different viewpoints, potentially conflicting ones even.
Absolutely. A regulator wants legal compliance. Your workers might want better ergonomic gear or more training. You have to identify and somehow balance all these diverse needs and expectations.
Okay, so our checklist says this is required to identify all relevant requirements that could affect the OH&S system. And its importance is clear. Ensures the system meets legal and stakeholder expectations, enhancing compliance and stakeholder trust. What's the strategic angle here?
Well, think about the downside. If you miss a key stakeholder's expectation, say, that local community concerns about your emergency plan, it could blow up. Legal challenges, bad press, maybe protests, and crucially, if your own workforce feels ignored.
Yeah, that lack of trust is corrosive.
Exactly. It undermines the whole safety culture.
Yeah.
But conversely, if you actively solicit and understand these expectations,
It becomes more collaborative.
precisely,
Yeah.
it shifts safety from just being a top-down order to a shared effort. People feel invested. You know, a worker's need might be simple but vital, like better ventilation. A community's expectation might be about clear emergency drills.
So it's about listening and integrating those voices.
Yes, building that trust
Yeah.
and making the system stronger from all angles.
Okay, next up, 4.3. Determining the scope of the OH&S management system. This mandates that an organization establish the boundaries and applicability of the OH&S management system to establish its scope.
Right, defining the playing field.
What does defining scope really mean in practice? Is it just ticking a box?
Oh, definitely not. It's a critical strategic decision. It answers the fundamental question. What parts of this organization are actually covered by this safety system?
So it could be just one department or the whole company.
Exactly. Is it just one high-risk production line, a single building, or the entire global operation with all its variations? You have to decide and document it clearly.
Why is that so important?
Well, the requirement exists to define what parts of the organization are covered. Simple enough. But the importance is, provides clarity on what is included and excluded, aiding accountability and effective management. Think about the opposite.
Chaos.
Pretty much. Imagine trying to implement a safety system without knowing the property lines, so to speak.
Yeah, you wouldn't know where to focus resources.
Right. Ambiguity leads to confusion, duplicated effort, maybe dangerous gaps where nobody thinks they're responsible. It's like a safety net full of holes.
Whereas a clear scope means.
Resources go where they're needed. Responsibilities are crystal clear. No ambiguity, no neglect. It's about drawing clear lines for safety responsibility.
Got it. Okay, final piece of clause 4 is 4.4. OH&S management system, the big one. The requirement is fundamental. Establish, implement, maintain, and continually improve an OH&S management system.
This is the core commitment, really. It underpins the entire standard.
So it's not just about having a system, like a binder on a shelf.
No, absolutely not. It's about active engagement, a continuous dynamic cycle. You establish it, create it, You implement it, put it into practice, you maintain it, keep it running day to day, and crucially, you continually improve it.
That sounds like the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle I've heard about, PDCA.
Exactly. That's the invisible engine driving this clause. Plan your safety actions, do them, check if they worked, and act on what you learn to make the system better. It's a perpetual loop.
Okay. And this is required to create a structured framework for managing OH&S, its importance. Lays the foundation for systematic management of OH&S risks and continual improvement.
Without that structure, what would safety efforts look like?
Reactive, chaotic, inconsistent.
All of the above. Constant firefighting, reacting to incidents after they happen instead of preventing them. This clause brings order, structure, system.
And the continual improvement part seems key. Safety isn't a destination you just arrive at.
Never. It's an ongoing journey, an evolving process. The world changes, risks change, technology changes. Your system has to adapt. It's about building a living system, always striving to be better.
That's a fantastic setup for the next part.
It really is. And what's truly fascinating to me is that once you've laid that groundwork, the context, the scope, the commitment to a system, ISO 45001 immediately pivots.
To what?
To what's arguably the most critical element, the human factor. Specifically, leadership and worker engagement.
Ah, right. Because a system is nothing without the people, is it?
Exactly. It raises that fundamental question. Can a safety system truly thrive, or even survive, without strong, visible leadership and genuinely engaged workers?
And the standards answer is?
A resounding no. Which brings us directly to Clause 5, focusing on these indispensable driving forces.
Okay, let's delve into 5.1, leadership and commitment. The requirement states that top management must demonstrate leadership and commitment with respect to the OH&S management system. What does demonstrate really mean here? It sounds active.
It is very active. This isn't just about signing off on a policy or allocating some budget and then, stepping back.
Right, not just delegation.
No. Demonstrate implies visible, active involvement, consistent action, prioritization. It means top leaders have to literally walk the talk.
Setting the tone from the top.
Absolutely. Setting the tone, integrating OH&S into core business operations, into strategic decisions, not treating it as some separate silo that only gets attention when something goes wrong.
Our source material emphasizes this is required to ensure leadership drives and supports OH&S goals, and its importance is underlined. Leadership is essential for fostering a culture of safety and ensuring resources and accountability. That accountability piece feels huge.
It's critical. Think about the ripple effect. Imagine a company where safety is just, a poster on the wall.
We've all seen those.
Right. But management never really talks about it. They underfund it. And crucially, nobody is held truly accountable for safety performance. What happens to the system then?
It just crumbles. It's meaningless.
Exactly. Leadership provides the fuel, the direction for the whole journey. So how can leaders visibly demonstrate this commitment?
Good question. Maybe by allocating enough money and people.
Yes. Sufficient resources are vital. What else?
Actively participating in safety meetings, safety reviews, audits.
Making safety a regular high-priority agenda item in their own high-level meetings. Their visible engagement sends a powerful message. It shows it's not just talk. It's a core value. A strategic investment, really.
Okay. Moving on to 5.2. OH&S policy. The requirement is to establish, implement, and maintain an OH&S policy.
This is the organization's public declaration, essentially.
Its intentions and direction regarding safety.
Precisely. It's the guiding star for all safety activities, and it needs to be crafted carefully, crystal clear, concise, and genuinely reflecting the organization's values, not just some boilerplate text you copied.
It needs to feel authentic.
Yes, a living document that resonates.
And it's required to define the organization's overall intentions and direction related to OH&S, its importance. Provides direction, commitment, and a basis for setting objectives. How does it form a basis for objectives?
So think about it. A weak, vague policy. It gives no real direction, just words.
Easily ignored.
Right. But a strong, clear policy, communicated well, and genuinely backed by leadership, that acts as a compass, both morally and operationally.
Okay.
And that's the basis for objectives. If your policy commits to, say, achieving zero harm, then your objectives need to reflect that. Maybe specific targets for reducing incident rates or increasing near-miss reporting. It ensures your goals align with your stated commitment, creates coherence.
Got it. Next, 5.3. Organizational roles, responsibilities, and authorities. The requirement is to ensure that roles, responsibilities, and authorities for OH&S are assigned and communicated. Sounds very practical.
Extremely practical. This dives into the nuts and bolts of who does what. It's all about clarity.
Because if everyone is responsible,
Then nobody is truly accountable. It's a classic problem.
so you need to explicitly assign roles.
Assign and communicate them clearly. So every single person from the CEO to the brand new hire knows their specific part in the safety puzzle.
Prevents confusion and people thinking, oh, that's someone else's job.
Exactly. It prevents diffusion of responsibility. Ensures someone owns each part.
And the requirement is to define accountability and lines of authority. Its importance ensures responsibilities are understood and actions are taken appropriately. What happens if this isn't clear, especially in a crisis?
Chaos. Hesitation. Critical steps missed. Clear roles prevent duplication, identify gaps, and ensure that when something needs fixing a corrective action, it can be assigned, tracked, and completed.
So it moves safety from just a general idea to specific duties.
Precisely. Turns aspiration into action.
Okay. And the final part of Clause 5 is 5.4. Consultation and participation of workers. Requirement. Establish processes for consultation and participation of workers at all levels. This feels like a really key part of the standard.
It absolutely is. This is where ISO 45001 powerfully emphasizes that safety isn't, and simply cannot be, just a management decree pushed downwards.
Because workers are the ones actually doing the work, facing the risks.
Day in, day out. They're on the front lines. They often have the most direct, unfiltered insights into the hazards, and crucially, often the most practical ideas for solutions.
So what's the difference between consultation and participation here?
Good question. Consultation means actively seeking their views before you make decisions about safety. Think safety committees, suggestion boxes, feedback sessions.
To asking for input.
Right. Participation goes a step further. It means actively involving them in the decision-making process itself.
How so?
Maybe involving them directly in conducting risk assessments for their areas or having worker representatives on incident investigation teams.
Yeah.
Giving them a real seat at the table.
Okay, and this is required to involve workers in the OH&S system. Importance. Engages workers in decision-making, leading to better hazard identification and system buy-in. That buy-in seems critical. It's huge.
Yeah.
What happens if workers feel unheard, excluded?
They disengage. Maybe stop reporting things.
Exactly. Apathy sets in. A reluctance to report near misses or hazards because they think, what's the point? Nothing will change.
But when they are genuinely involved,
They transform from passive recipients of rules to proactive safety champions. They see hazards management might miss because they live with them daily.
So better hazard identification is a direct result.
Absolutely. And it fosters that deep sense of ownership that's invaluable. It makes the safety system theirs, not just management's. Leads to solutions that actually work on the ground.
That's a critical point. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've laid the groundwork, understanding context. We've engaged our people through leadership and participation, defined the roles. Now, how do we actually plan for safety? It's clearly not just about reacting, is it?
No, absolutely not. ISO 45000 RIA firmly shifts us into proactive mode here, and that's what Clause 6 is all about, charting the course for success through planning. Right. Let's dive into 6.1. Actions to address risks and opportunities. The requirement is to establish a process to identify hazards, assess OH&S risks and opportunities, and determine actions to address them. This sounds like the core of proactive safety.
It really is the beating heart of it. And it's a systematic process, not just guesswork.
Okay, break it down for us. First step.
Identify hazards. What could potentially cause harm? Could be obvious, like a slippery floor, unguarded machine, or less obvious, like excessive workload leading to burnout.
Okay, find the dangers then.
Assess risks. How likely is harm from that hazard? And if it happens, how severe could it be? High chance of a slip, but maybe only minor injury, or low chance of a chemical leak, but potentially catastrophic consequences.
Likelihood versus severity. Got it. That's next. This is the interesting part you mentioned earlier.
Identify opportunities. This is crucial. It's not just about reducing risk. It's about actively looking for chances to improve safety performance beyond the baseline. Maybe investing in that new, inherently safer technology we talked about, or significantly upgrading training programs to boost competence across the board. Things that make a positive leap forward.
Okay, beyond just mitigating negatives. And the final step.
Determine actions. What are we actually going to do about the hazards, the risks, the opportunities? Be specific. Clean spills immediately. Install machine guards. Provide new ergonomic tools. Invest in that new tech. Develop that better training.
Got it. Plan the response. Our checklist says this is required to proactively manage risks and leverage opportunities to improve OH&S performance, importance, mitigates incidents, and ensures legal and other compliance while promoting continual improvement.
And that proactive element is the game changer. It moves you from reacting after something happens.
To preventing it before it happens.
Exactly. And thinking about those OH&S opportunities, again, what else could they be beyond just avoiding harm?
Maybe innovation in safety gear, wellness programs that boost overall health, making people more resilient.
Perfect examples. Or even finding efficiencies through safer processes. This is where safety stops being just a cost center or a compliance headache.
It becomes a genuine value add, a driver of excellence.
Precisely. Seeing safety as a source of strength.
Okay. Following that, we have 6.2, OH&S objectives, and planning to achieve them. The requirement. Set OH&S objectives and plan actions to achieve them.
Right. This is where those broad policy commitments we discussed earlier get translated into concrete, actionable goals.
And these objectives need to be SMART, specific, measurable.
Achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Yes.
SMART objectives give you clear targets. Vague goals lead nowhere.
And then you plan the actions.
You detail exactly how you'll meet those objectives. Who does what, by when, with what resources. It's the roadmap. Makes the vision tangible, trackable.
And this is required to provide a clear direction and measurable targets for OH&S performance, its importance, facilitates strategic focus and tracking progress towards safety goals.
Think about it, without clear objectives, safety efforts just drift, reactive, unfocused.
But measurable targets allow you to track progress, hold people accountable.
Exactly. If your objective is, say, reduce manual handling injuries by 20% in the next fiscal year, that's specific. You can measure it. It's way more powerful than just saying, let's try to have fewer injuries.
It gives focus.
And it connects directly back to leadership commitment, the policy. It creates that coherent, measurable system where everyone knows the goal and how they contribute.
It makes total sense.
Absolutely. So you've got your plans, but plans are useless without the right support, right?
Sure. You need the infrastructure to make it happen.
Exactly. And that's where Clause 7 comes in. It delves deep into these critical support elements, the things that make the whole safety system functional and effective. Without these, even the best intentions, the most brilliant plans will just fall short. It's about enabling action.
Okay, so what's first under support?
Let's begin with 7.1, resources. The requirement is to determine and provide resources needed for the OH&S management system.
Resources sounds broad. What does that actually cover?
It is broad, intentionally so. It includes sufficient people, competent, trained personnel for all safety tasks. It covers infrastructure, safe buildings, reliable equipment, maybe IT systems for managing safety data.
Okay, people, places, things.
And crucially, financial resources. You need budget for initiatives, equipment, training, and often overlooked but vital adequate time. Time for people to do safety tasks properly, time for training, time for investigations.
So it's about ensuring comprehensive support across the board?
Yes, from training new hires to investigating serious incidents, you need the resources available.
And this is required to ensure the system is adequately supported. Importance. Without proper resources, effective implementation and maintenance are not possible. Seems obvious, but probably often neglected.
Very often. Think about the hidden costs of under-resourcing safety. It's not just the potential for more incidents and fines.
What else? Reputational damage? Low morale.
Definitely. And lowered productivity due to disruptions, absences. But flip it around. How can sufficient resources be an investment?
By preventing those costly incidents in the first place. Improving productivity by reducing downtime. Maybe better employee retention because people feel safe and valued.
Exactly. It's an investment in your people, your resilience, your reputation, not just an expense line.
Okay. Next support element, 7.2. Competence. Requirement. Ensure workers are competent based on education, training, or experience.
Competence here isn't just about having a certificate.
No. What is it then?
It's about the actual ability to apply knowledge and skills to achieve intended results. It means people truly understand their tasks, the risks involved, and critically, how to do their jobs safely and effectively.
So it's about capability, not just qualifications.
Precisely. It's a fundamental safeguard against human error, which, let's face it, is a huge factor in many workplace incidents.
And this is required to confirm that individuals can perform tasks that impact OH&S, importance, reduces human error, and enhances the effectiveness of the OH&S system. How does incompetence show up?
Oh, you'll see it. More near misses, more actual incidents. People not following procedures because they don't really understand them or know how to do them properly.
So what does a truly competent workforce look like?
It's not just people robotically following rules. It's workers actively thinking critically about safety, proactively spotting hazards, maybe even suggesting improvements.
So it implies continuous learning.
Yeah.
Skill development.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not just a one-off training session. It fosters that culture of active safety vigilance.
Okay. Following competence is 7.3. Awareness. Requirement. Ensure persons doing work are aware of the OH&S policy, objectives, and their contribution.
How is this different from competence?
Good question. If competence is knowing how to do something safely, awareness is fundamentally knowing why it matters.
Ah, the bigger picture.
Exactly. Understanding the overall safety system, its goals, and critically, how their individual actions contribute to or detract from those collective goals. It's about the intellectual and emotional buy-in.
Turning compliance into commitment.
That's a great way to put it. And this is required to build awareness around safety responsibilities, importance. Empowers individuals to make informed decisions and take responsibility.
Think about a worker who knows how to use a machine safely, but doesn't really get why the guard is so critical or how their role fits into the company's safety target.
They might get complacent, bypass the guard if it's inconvenient.
Exactly, because the why isn't clear. Awareness fosters that personal ownership.
Yep.
It makes safety a shared value, not just a rule. It's a difference between a checklist item and a core belief.
Powerful distinction. Okay, next support, 7.4. Communication. Requirement. Establish, implement, and maintain communication processes.
Communication in OH&S absolutely has to be a two-way street, internal and external.
Okay. Internally means?
Communicating policies, procedure updates, known hazards, sharing incident info and lessons learned clearly and consistently.
And externally?
Talking effectively with regulators, emergency services, maybe the public if needed during an event. It needs to be clear, timely, accessible to everyone who needs it, not just pushing info out, but making sure it's understood.
And it's required to ensure effective internal and external OH&S related communication. Importance. Improves responsiveness and consistency of information flow. What happens when safety communication breaks down?
It could be disastrous. Misunderstandings,
Yeah.
delays in response, potentially catastrophic consequences. Think about a fire alarm not working or evacuation instructions being confusing.
Right. Seconds matter.
Absolutely. Conversely, clear, consistent, proactive communication, it builds huge trust, reinforces safety messages, ensures everyone's on the same page during normal times, and especially during emergencies. It underpins everything else.
Okay. Last one in the support section, 7.5. Documented information. Requirement. Create and maintain information required by the OH&S system and standard. This sounds like the paperwork part.
It can feel like that, but it's essential. This refers to all the verifiable records that prove the system exists and is working.
Like policies, procedures.
Yes, policies, procedures, training records, risk assessments, incident reports, audit findings, anything that provides evidence.
And this is where that audit checklist idea really comes into play, documenting what the checklist requires.
Exactly. The checklist guides what needs to be documented for verification, but the emphasis isn't on creating mountains of paper for its own sake. It's about having the right information, easily accessible when needed, in a clear format.
And it's required to provide evidence of conformity and system performance. Importance. Supports traceability, accountability, and improvement efforts. Why is that trail paper or digital so important?
It enables audits, for one, provides historical data for analysis seeing trends, ensures consistency. It's your record for accountability.
It's how you show what was done, when, and by whom.
Precisely. Which is absolutely crucial for continuous improvement and for demonstrating legal compliance. It's the proof. Allows you to show, not just tell, that your system is real and effective.
Okay, so we've planned meticulously objectives, actions. We've built the support systems, resources, competence, awareness, communication, documentation. Now, the big question, how does all this planning and infrastructure actually translate into safe operations day in, day out?
Right. This is where the rubber meets the road.
Which brings us to Clause 8. This focuses squarely on the practical application, the doing part of the safety system, the daily grind of operational safety, as you might say.
Exactly. Putting the plans and supports into action.
Let's start with 8.1, operational planning and control requirement. Plan, implement, and control processes needed to meet requirements and manage risks. Sounds like putting safety into practice everywhere.
It is. This clause is incredibly broad. It applies to virtually all processes that could affect OH&S.
Like procurement, production. Maintenance.
All of those. Procurement of materials, the production line itself, maintenance activities, logistics, anything that carries risk.
So what does plan, implement, and control mean here?
It means establishing clear procedures for tasks, implementing specific controls like permit-to-work systems for hot work or confined space entry, ensuring machine guarding is robust and used.
And the control part.
Meticulously monitoring the effectiveness of those controls. Are they working? Are people following the procedures? Ensuring activities are consistently carried out safely. Embedding safety into the operation, not just bolting it on.
Our checklist says this is required to ensure activities are carried out under controlled conditions. Importance. Prevents incidents and ensures consistent implementation of controls. What are controlled conditions?
Conditions where hazards are systematically minimized, where workers are actively protected through engineering controls first, then procedures, then PPE. It's about designing safety into the task, not making it an extra burden.
It's where all that planning actually protects people.
Exactly, where theory becomes real-world protection.
Okay, but things can still go wrong, which leads to 8.2. Emergency preparedness and response. Requirement. Establish and maintain processes for potential emergency situations, acknowledging the unexpected.
Yes, despite our best prevention efforts, emergencies can still happen. Fires, spills, natural disasters, medical events.
So this clause is about being ready.
Completely. It involves a comprehensive process. First, identifying all potential emergencies relevant to your operations. Then, establishing clear, concise response plans for each.
And training people on those plans.
Rigorously training all relevant personnel. And crucially, conducting regular drills. Testing the plans, testing the training, building that muscle memory. The goal is to minimize harm when the worst happens.
And it's required to prepare for and respond to emergencies effectively. Importance. Minimizes impact and ensures safety during incidents. Why is this so strategically important?
Think about it. An organization might have fantastic day-to-day safety, truly excellent.
Right.
But if it completely falls apart during a major emergency?
All that good work is undone. The consequences could be huge.
Devastating. Reputation, finances, and most importantly, people's lives. So what's the real value of those regular drills?
They find the weaknesses in the plans. Improve response times. Make people react automatically under pressure.
All of that. They build resilience. This section highlights that safety isn't just about prevention. It's also about being prepared to manage unavoidable events effectively, minimizing harm, demonstrating true organizational robustness.
Okay, that's the doing part covered.
Right. So we've built a system, clauses 4, 5, 7. We're operating it, clause 8. But how do we know if it's actually working? Is it effective?
Good question. We need to check, right? Evaluate performance.
Exactly. And that's where we shift focus now, squarely to evaluation, monitoring, and review. Clause 9 brings in that crucial element of checking and assessing performance. It's a vital part of the Plan-Do-Check-Act cycle. Without this feedback loop, we're flying blind.
Okay, let's check our work. Starting with 9.1, monitoring, measurement, analysis, and performance evaluation. Requirement. Evaluate OH&S performance and effectiveness through monitoring and analysis.
This is all about tracking how well you're doing, systematically. And it involves looking at different types of indicators.
Leading and lagging indicators.
Exactly. Leading indicators are proactive. They predict future performance. Things like safety training completion rates, the number of hazards reported by workers, findings from safety inspections or audits.
Okay, things that show you're actively managing safety and lagging.
Lagging indicators are reactive. They tell you what's already happened. Incident rates, lost time injuries, days away from work, property damage costs.
So you need both.
Absolutely. You collect this data, you analyze it for trends, patterns, you try to understand how well the system is really performing against the objectives you set back in Clause 6. This is where the data from that audit checklist approach becomes really powerful.
And this is required to assess system effectiveness and identify areas for improvement. Importance. Drives fact-based decision-making and continual improvement. What happens if you don't measure?
You're operating in the dark. Simple as that. You can't identify successes properly or pinpoint failures accurately. Measurement gives you the hard data.
It allows for targeted action,
Right.
demonstrates accountability.
Yes. And that fact-based decision-making piece transforms safety. It moves you away from gut feelings or assumptions.
To evidence-based strategies that are much more likely to work. It makes safety more scientific.
Precisely.
Okay. Next check is 9.2. Internal audit. Requirement. Conduct internal audits at planned intervals.
Internal audits are basically the organization giving itself a rigorous checkup. systematically, independently.
What are they checking for?
They're checking if the OH&S system conforms to the standards requirements, if it meets the organization's own policies and procedures, and crucially, if it's actually being effectively implemented and maintained day to day. It's that internal health check, using the audit checklist as a guide.
And required to verify that the OH&S system conforms to planned arrangements. Importance. Identifies nonconformities and opportunities for corrective action. What's the specific value of doing this internally? Why not just wait for the external auditors?
Because internal audits allow you to find and fix problems proactively before the external auditors arrive or before regulators inspect.
Self-correction.
Yes, it helps uncover hidden issues, provides insights for improvement, and builds internal capability. Your own people learn to assess the system critically. And the key is planned intervals. It's not a one-off. It's regular upkeep, preventing complacency.
Got it. Final evaluation step, 9.3. Management review. Requirement. Top management must review the OH&S system periodically. Back to the leadership commitment.
Absolutely. This is the critical executive oversight step. Top management formally sits down to review the overall performance of the entire OH&S system.
What do they look at?
A wide range of inputs. Results from internal and external audits, performance data, those leading and lagging indicators, any changes in the business context we discussed in Clause 4, resource needs, do we still have enough?
So it's their chance to make sure the system is still fit for purpose, still supported.
Exactly. Still strategically relevant, adequately resourced, and actually achieving its intended outcomes. It's leadership putting their stamp on its ongoing viability and effectiveness.
Required to ensure ongoing suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness. Importance. Aligns OH&S strategy with changing business and legal requirements. What if management doesn't do this review periodically?
How quickly can a system become outdated or irrelevant in today's world?
Very quickly. Regulations change, technology changes.
Precisely. This review closes the loop in the PDCA cycle. It allows for strategic adjustments. It reaffirms commitment from the very top, connecting right back to 5.1. It ensures safety remains a living part of the business strategy, not just some static rules.
Okay, we've built it, operated it, checked it. Now comes the final but absolutely crucial piece. Making it better. Constantly.
The ACT part of PDCA, really.
Exactly. This is the essence of continual improvement, and ISO 4501 dedicates its final clause, Clause 10, to this vital concept. Ensuring safety is an ever-evolving journey towards excellence, not just hitting a target, but always pushing higher.
Couldn't have said it better.
Let's start with 10.1, general improvement, the core requirement. Identify opportunities for improvement and act on them.
And notice it's not just about fixing problems after they happen, although that's part of it. It's about proactively seeking out ways to enhance performance.
Where do these opportunities come from?
All sorts of places. Audit findings, definitely. Lessons from incident investigations, suggestions from workers, remember consultation and participation. Even adopting new, safer technologies. It embodies that culture of restless improvement. Always asking, how can we do this better? What's the next level?
And required to maintain and enhance OH&S performance. Importance. Ensures continual development of safety practices and processes.
It's about striving for excellence, not just ticking the compliance box. What's the risk if you don't continually improve?
Stagnation, falling behind as risks evolve, failure to adapt.
All of that. It's about making sure your safety performance is better tomorrow than it is today, adapting and growing. It's a strategic necessity now.
Okay. Next, and critically, 10.2. Incident, nonconformity, and corrective action. Requirement. Respond to incidents and take corrective actions to eliminate root causes.
This is absolutely fundamental. When something goes wrong, an incident happens, or a nonconformity is found.
A failure to meet a requirement.
Exactly. You don't just patch it up. You enact a systematic response. React immediately to control the situation, yes, but then investigate thoroughly.
To find the root cause, not just the symptom.
Critically important. Find the underlying reason why it happened, and then implement robust corrective actions designed specifically to prevent it from happening again, turning negatives into learning.
Required to prevent recurrence and address system weaknesses. Importance. Supports accountability and continuous learning. Why is getting to that root cause so vital?
Because if you only fix the symptom, the problem will come back. Guaranteed. This rigorous process transforms incidents from failures into incredibly powerful learning opportunities.
Fosters accountability, deep analysis.
Yes. It drives genuine, lasting improvement, ensures you learn from mistakes, not just repeat them.
Okay, finally, 10.3. Continual improvement, the overarching requirement. Continually improve the suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness of the OH&S system.
Sounds like it's pulling everything together.
It is. It reiterates the core philosophy of the whole standard. Let's break down those terms again. Suitability.
How well it fits the organization. Like a tailored suit?
Perfect analogy. Adequacy. Does it have enough resources, the right scope, robust processes?
Okay.
And effectiveness.
Is it actually achieving what it's supposed to? Fewer incidents, healthier workers, stronger safety culture, meeting those objectives we set. And the continual part emphasizes this is ongoing, dynamic, always adapting.
Required to adapt and evolve in response to internal and external changes. Importance. Helps achieve long-term sustainability and OH&S performance.
And this brings us right back to the beginning, full circle. An OH&S system isn't static. It's not a document you write and file away.
It's a living entity.
Exactly. Constantly adapting to new risks, new tech, new regulations, new ways of working. That adaptability is what ensures long-term sustainability, protecting people in the organization for the future. It's the ultimate expression of proactive management, keeping that safety blueprint relevant and effective.
Wow. Okay, so today we've really journeyed through the 10 core clauses of ISO 45001. We've meticulously unpacked each element from understanding context and leadership through planning, support, operations, evaluation, and finally, that commitment to continual improvement.
Using that audit checklist lens really helped structure it.
It did. It showed how each component builds on the last, creating this integrated system. But what we've seen today, it's really more than just a checklist for auditors, isn't it?
Oh, much more. While it serves that purpose, its real value is deeper.
It feels like a profound, comprehensive blueprint. A blueprint for creating a workplace where people can genuinely thrive without fear for their health and safety.
It's a testament to the idea that proactive, systematic attention to well-being isn't just nice to have, it's essential.
Essential for any resilient, responsible, sustainable organization. It really seems to transform safety, moving it away from being seen as just a reactive burden.
Into a strategic advantage, a core value, an engine for continuous learning and adaptation.
Absolutely. So as you, our listeners, reflect on this structured, almost checklist-driven approach of ISO 45001, here's a final thought to mull over. How might applying a similar systematic mindset, identifying your own context, planning proactively for goals, ensuring you have the resources, measuring your performance, striving for constant improvement, how might applying that to other areas of your life transform things?
Interesting question. Beyond the workplace.
Yeah. Your approach to personal growth, strengthening relationships, even tackling the complex challenges we see in our communities. It feels like a really powerful framework, not just for organizations, but maybe for building robust, adaptable systems in almost any domain. Something to think about.